Yeah.
25 years, and the only guy that doesn't have any gray hair is you.
Yeah.
Well, I color them. I'm good. Before you walked in, we were just talking about BMI. Had sent a list over yesterday, and the update on the other songs that are in the 5 million category, and some of them were Get Back, Penny Lane, The Beatles.
What? Really?
Yeah. Get Off My Cloud, The Rolling Stones, LaGrange, Stop in the Name of Love, The Supremes,
Wow.
Tears in Heaven, Eric Clapton.
9 to 5.
Tears in
Holy
Heaven, Eric
crazy.
Clapton. Not a lot of country in there.
So
Yeah, it's amazing. when
You
get
guys
to do
still
what we
sound
do.
great.
Yeah.
I saw you at the Hank
Thank
Festival
y'all.
a couple
Still.
years ago.
You guys
Hey,
have
man,
y'all been in the first line of my bio for 25 years. I appreciate that very much.
Well,
We'll take it.
well, thank you again.
Last night I had a crazy dream.
Well, I do know it was during the holiday season, and I started thinking about, some loved ones, people that were no longer in my life, and I was not trying to even, write a song, wasn't thinking about writing a song, and I just got emotional, and there was a guitar, and, some of that first verse fell out, enough to have something to present to my next co-writer on the next appointment, and it just so happens that, it was Steven Dale Jones, and we knew each other very well. We had met in Muscle Shoals. He was a loan officer at a bank there. I worked at WLAY Radio, and on our lunch breaks, we would get together and just talk about coming to Nashville. And this was 10 years later. So fast forward 10 years, and I have this writing appointment with him, and I played him what I had, and he totally connected with it. But the funny thing, his publisher at the time, their publishing building had burned down.
Yeah, there was a candle that caught on the drapes on fire, and had pretty much didn't destroy the building, but we had to move out of the publishing company. So we moved into an office over kind of across from Sony that was later Jody Jones dentist. I had a root canal in that building late about 15 years later. Absolutely.
Oh my God.
So
Paid for
and
by
so
one more day.
yeah, so and everything was kind of like it was just in a big room. And Roger Cook was one of our writers at Island Bound, and he had a piano that I used to play around on some. And we ended up in that room, and I was sitting at the piano, and we actually finished that one on piano, I think, for the most part.
Well, the funny thing is, you very seldom played piano. I mean, it's not like you were a piano
No,
writer.
I would, I think the beauty of that was that I wasn't smart enough or good enough to complicate it. I kept it pretty simple. I've written, I don't know, in 20 years I probably wrote 10 songs on the piano, and probably got 5 of them recorded because I didn't get in my own way, So
Funny thing is, he had this melodic, little melodic hook, and when he heard the idea being one more day, the verse ending with one more day, he was like, God, I've had this melodic hook forever, right?
It just was meant to be.
One more day.
One of those things where I remember us talking like, this sounds like Diamond Rio to me.
Oh, absolutely.
And so I remember being in a hurry to get it recorded, get a demo done. So I think the next day I did just a live guitar vocal on it, and added a piano. And I remember a couple of days later telling my publisher, which was at that time was Julie Daniel and Chris Lacey was our song plugger. I remember telling them that I wanted to go in and redo it because I just wasn't happy with it, and the vocal wasn't good, and I couldn't just go fix the vocal because it was a live guitar vocal thing. So this was seemed like the 1st of December of that year, and I remember they said, a lot of people are recording in January. Let's just wait and see. I said, okay, you got to the end of January, and if it's not on the hold by then, I'll go in and redo it. And it didn't last that long. It was on hold pretty fast.
The first person that it was on hold for, the first artist, was a group that was on Curb. I write at Curb. I've been there for quite a while and was there then during that time. And there was a group on the label, the Clark Family Experience, and I think there was like 12 of these kids in this group. And the A&R person at the time put it on hold, and I remember thinking, nothing against them, but I'm like, I can't imagine, them recording this song. And then they took it off hold in a couple of days. Then Alabama put it on hold for like 3 days. And then Mark Wills, it was placed on hold for Mark, and then somehow in the mix, Diamond Rio heard the
I
demo.
think Sistad and Steve Williams heard it, and I think that maybe, if I remember correctly, they played it for Brooks and Dunn.
That's right.
And I think maybe it was Ronnie, I don't know, one of them, who said, sounds more like Diamond Rio. That was the story I heard, so that worked.
Keep me wishing still one more day with you.
The most difficult part of us making records is we've got 6 guys and a producer. In the first record, a co-producer, we got a label head, we got management stuff, so there was this huge democracy. And so trying to get it down to just the 6 guys, we would sit together often on the bus, and man, it was just, it was torture, because it was so many songs, and a lot of times the songs that were pitched to us were derivative of a hit we just had. Wow, this one sounds just like, literally, we had one that sounded just like Love a Little Stronger, and I'm going, what is going on? So in our meeting, if somebody didn't like the song, since it's a democracy, you'd have this one finger. That means this is the finger that is going to push the advance back in this time on CDs or cassettes, because this is back in the early 90s. And as soon as you got 3 fingers, boom, we were not going to have a majority on this song. And one of the other criteria were, if you were voted out on a song, you needed to show up, you needed to do your best on this, because if we have a hit, it's going to be playing it for forever. So when One More Day came along, which is this awesome song, significant piece of music that has changed the lives of the writers, the bands, our families, all this stuff, it was just another song in a songwriting session. And it was just another song that we were working on for the record. And honestly, when a ballad comes in, we're all thinking, man, we got to have tempo. We need a single at radio. We're trying to impact radio. We're trying to sell records and stuff like that. Ballads seem to be easier to come by with, really good, weighty material. So we're not necessarily looking for that, right? Well, One More Day was the song that we had for this record.
All of the material we've ever done, it goes through a strain that kind of fits who I am, that if I like it, that maybe there might be a few 100,000 or maybe 1 million or 2 that feel the same way as me. It's worked. It worked for us okay. Well, when I heard these lyrics and I heard this chorus and the music of it and the ability for me in a ballad as a singer get to kind of showcase me, a little selfish, but that was why I said, well, it's a great love song. I think it's a hit.
Guys would bring songs, A&R people would bring songs. We would always listen either in a conference room at Arista or at the management, or we'd listen on the bus. There was a lot of listening to songs on the bus. We might listen to 30 to 60 songs in one afternoon while we're going down the road. So we're listening to songs, and when you find something that everybody likes, which is kind of tough with 6 guys, it's got to be unanimous or close, then we go ahead and we make a phone call and we put that song on hold. So we have first right to that song when we go to record this album. Well, we're listening to songs. I think that day we probably put 2 or 3 on hold. One of them was One More Day. When we played One More Day, we all went, it was really interesting to me, because there wasn't people jumping up and down going, this is going to be a huge hit, this is going to impact people. It was just simply this. And I think almost everybody said it. That's just a real good song, man. Gets to me here. Let's put this one on hold.
One more day, one more time, one more sunset, maybe I'd be satisfied. But then again,
Well, I was Bill's sound engineer at the time. That was one of my side jobs. Even though I was writing for Curb Publishing, I still needed to make some more money, and I just had a few cuts on projects, but no radio single. So I remember very well, we were at a show in Pennsylvania, and after the show, I was listening to the rough copy of the song, and I was standing there in the aisle, and he had just finished signing autographs, and he was in a hurry to get to his stateroom, and he says, "What are you listening to?" And I said, "Well, I just got this cut. Steve Jones and I just got this cut on Diamond Rio." And he's like, "Diamond Rio?" He's like, "Who wouldn't want a cut on Diamond Rio?" And he says, "Can I hear it?" And he actually listened to it twice, and he's like, "You're not going to be my sound engineer for long." He said, "Do you know how big this song is going to be?" And we knew we had something special, but never dreamed that it was going to do what it did. And there's another story I just have to share that led up to this song being a single. I'll never forget hearing the story after the record company merged, Arista and RCA. Joe Galani was the label head, and he went to Los Angeles and was in a meeting where he was playing new music from artists on the label, and wasn't getting a lot of response from what I've heard. And there was a lady sitting there in the room who sent a note to Joe, and it said, "Play One More Day" off the Diamond Rio record, and he played it. And from what I hear, everyone stood and just got an amazing response. And he called the Nashville office and said, "Well, this is going to be the next single," because I was working, as I said, for Bill Anderson, and I'll never forget, it was a Grand Ole Opry matinee back when, before you could check your cell phone messages, and you even had a cell phone. It was right on the verge of the cells, everyone having one. And they had a little telephone in the green room, and I remember calling, just checking to see if I had messages at home, and there was a message from Jimmy Olander saying, "I love to be the bearer of good news. You guys have the next single." So we would love to know who this lady was. I'm beginning to think it was an angel.
When it got released, it was amazing. The impact that it had in the audiences, the amount of people that we would see after showing up to shows, and people would come with a framed photo of a person that they lost. It could be a family member, it could be somebody that they love. They'd just stand up during that song. They wouldn't wave their hands, and they'd have their photo with them. And we knew that we were dealing with a piece of material that was actually touching people, and it was changing some lives, and it was just an amazing thing to be with. And actually, I was unprepared to do meet and greet when One More Day came out, because I found myself saying, "Oh, I know how you feel, and I'm so sorry." And it was all these kind of really insensitive things to say to somebody when they're going through the grieving process. And these people have found their way to my meet and greet, which wasn't necessarily, you have to have a backstage pass, and you have to have a special, credentials to get back, and we're gonna meet with the band and stuff like that. And they're coming back they just wanna talk to us about the person that's left, and what the song did for them and for the person that left. And, at that point, I just went, okay, I don't need to be, shucky-jivey. I need to listen and just ask them a question. Well, tell me about this person, and it was a good life lesson that's helped me moving forward as I've become an old guy.
It kind of is a little mind-boggling. I mean, when you think about it. I mean, when Diamond Rio started, man, these six guys, we just wanted to get in and make a living. That's what we was trying to do, and do it by playing music. And we put out a record, and it blew us away just because a record was on the radio that we sang on. Oh, and then to think it goes number one, and then to think you got another one and another one, and then when you come along and find a song and get a hold of a song like One More Day, and I don't know how many remember, but that song went number one twice, and it had stayed there 3 weeks. It hadn't been for darn Toby Keith. But, yeah, go Toby.
My first experience with this song, or at least not coming to an understanding that this song was more than just the love song, great chorus, and something that really spoke to me about what's important about life. We decided that the record turned out great. We were excited about it. The label was excited about it. It got released. And so it was a bit shocking and a bit of a confirmation that sometimes we can be a part of a piece of material that, I don't know if changes their life, but it sure helps people deal with perspective of life and get through great times of joy, express great times of joy, or express just what really matters in life. And music's always done that for me.
First thing I do is pray for time to crawl. I'd unplug the telephone.
We were playing in Wellsville, Utah, which is 7 miles from my house. We played at the American West Heritage Center, which is this incredible facility. It's 300 acres of animals and old homes and cowboys working, and it's really great. And I didn't even know this at the time, but the guy that runs the facility, I know him. He used to be the vice president of Utah State University. And so we were visiting with him during the day, and then after the show, he comes and he says, you know, there was a family here that's really close to me. He said it's the father, who's his age, 60-something, but his daughter and her kids were all there, another daughter and their kids, but the one daughter, Kelsey, has cancer and has been battling this cancer for 5 years. 5 years ago, One More Day became her theme song. And I'm going, and he goes, she lives by that. And I'm like, why didn't you tell me before the show? Because we could have had her meet the band. So guess what Gene and I did? Well, first I got the rest of the guys to sign a picture, and I put a little note to her. We gave her a t-shirt, and we got those new Unbelievable t-shirts. And I gave it to her. Gina and I went to her home. And when we got there, it was like everybody was there, and they're all dressed up. But she, I gave her that t-shirt. You know how it says Kissable, Huggable, Unbelievable? And I said, this is for you. We wanted you to have this because we know you're unbelievable. I said, I don't know about the other two. And her husband goes, I can vouch she is kissable and huggable too, right? And we thought we were going to be there like 10 minutes. We were there for 2.5 hours. They're telling stories. We're telling stories. They want to know all about Diamond Rio. They want to know all about how did I end up a guy from Utah in Diamond Rio. They want to know everything. They want to know about the guys that wrote One More Day. Was it you guys? Was it somebody else? Anyway, 10 days later, she dies. And we got the coolest note from her dad, you know, that he said she probably could have not had any bigger gift, you know, other than life, than that you and your wife to show up. And it was just, you know, it's like sad for me. And I remember on stage one day, and you would see it a lot, but the lights were just right because we were playing an outside show, and it was still early before the sun went down. And we do One More Day. Now this is 2003-ish, maybe 2004. And I look at the people who are holding on to the person next to them, that are crying. And in my mind, I went, oh my gosh, this just doesn't go away. In fact, it becomes more and more. I swear half of the crowd was holding tightly to somebody or crying. It was just such a humbling, beautiful experience for just me personally in that little moment. You know, to see the impact of this song.
One more day. Leave me wishing
Dale Earnhardt was, when he passed, it just, the very first thing I heard that next day was One More Day being played, and little pieces, clips, audio clips from the racing and all that kind of stuff thrown in there. And then we'd get out on the road and we're playing One More Day, and you see the entire crowd holding up the three, his number of car. Unbelievable. We went through, it seemed like we went through a time right there of awful things that happened that song was used in. There was a Oklahoma ball team that was in a crash and passed, and they used it for that. And then here comes 9/11, and I don't even know that the whole day was over with yet, and we were hearing where they had put together lots of pieces using the news pieces, clips from that, and with One More Day. So again, how many situations does that song fit to and help with, as far as the healing process and just remembering,
One More Day is about the 5th song in the set, and Marty sets it up nice. And I see about 10 people come in very late. I'm thinking, man, they missed Unbelievable. What are they doing? This is kind of rude, and I'm all full of myself up. What are these people? There's about 10 people come in, and they sit right here in the aisle in these seats. And we continue to play, and we kick off One More Day. And in these 10 people, there's about maybe 6 guys and 4 women. One of the women was completely bald. And we kick into One More Day, and she gets up and she puts her hand out to this guy, and they get up and they dance. And they're dancing for a little bit here through the intro and the first verse, and then all of a sudden, another guy gets up and he cuts in. And everybody in their party danced with that girl. And I don't know if she was in remission and they were celebrating that, or if they were celebrating her life before she passed. But it was a significant moment for them. And when we finished One More Day, I was kind of choked up because I was getting all full of myself and how they're coming in late. And then there's this really beautiful, humbling moment for me with One More Day. And these people are hugging, and they're you can tell that there's a little bit of a celebration back here. We kick into the next song, and they turn to each other, and they leave. They were not there for Diamond Rio. They were there for One More Day.
At the Bluebird, it's just such an intimate setting, and hearing people sing along with you is just, beyond dreams. But I was getting ready to do a show, and this great writer, incredible writer, was part of the round, and he said, "Man, if you don't mind, give me a heads up before we do that song." And he said, "I just can't listen to it." I said, "Oh, okay."
Oh, wow.
So he said, "My dog died when it was a hit, and I've just never been able to get over it." So we're going around the circle, and then it comes my turn. I'm like, so he gets up and goes to the restroom, and as soon as the song's over, he comes back and sits down. It's hilarious.
Well, I've never heard
I can't
that
tell you
story.
who he is. I'll tell you who he is
I
later.
want to know.
2010, there was a awful oil rig that blew up out in the Gulf, and I think it was in the Gulf. Anyway, there's a movie about it called Deepwater Horizon and all that, and we got called kind of on the down low stealth phone call to come and play at their memorial, or whatever you want to call it. But we had to do it all on the down low, and we couldn't do any kind of post about it or anything. And so we go down and play at this thing, and when we show up down there, they ask everybody, okay, no pictures, no video, no anything, just being as respectful as you could possibly be in that situation. And we walk in, and I see a stage that is like a half of a circle, and all the way around the front of that circle, they've got 11 helmets sitting there of the ones that had passed, and each helmet had a spotlight on it, and that was that's about all the light there was. And let me tell you, you just walk in there and it just almost take your breath. And they put us to the side and they wanted us to play 2 songs. In God We Still Trust was the song we've had and been doing for several years. And the other song was One More Day. And I just got to tell you, man, when we went into One More Day, and you know, we were standing on stage when they let everybody in, and everybody that came in was all the wives, young mothers, children, all of them coming in and sit right there in front of us. And buddy, when we went into One More Day, and you see these wives and children that are old enough to know what's going on, some of them wasn't, just absolutely break down. And I remember that was one of the times that even I got choked up. That was a very heavy, poignant moment for Diamond Rio and for One More Day. I have always felt that song continues to be an entity of its own. I mean, we just have been blessed with having our name hooked to it. That song, it runs the track by itself, man. I mean, in every way. I also have a memory of playing a great big festival in Arizona. And on the front row, saw a daughter and a mother sitting on the front row right square in front of Marty. But they left a chair in between them. And when we came out and was about to do One More Day, they pull out this big picture of their loved one and put it in that chair where they were supposed to be. And the 2 of them sat there and held hands during this song and absolutely cried their eyes out. And somehow or another, they call that healing. But and I'm sure that's part of it. But it has just been a unbelievable journey with this song from the beginning, from the time we first heard it. When Bobby and Steven sent it to us, we first heard it. It was one of the first songs that we recorded for that album. And here we are 25 years later, and it's still as poignant today as it ever has been.
I've had many scenarios where I become so accustomed to it that I just sing that song with my eyes closed the whole time. And that keeps me from losing it. I've gotten better at being able to separate. I mean, I've had to sing at so many funerals, and I've had to sing that song by myself at many funerals, and that ain't easy. And especially because there are always people that you're there to grieve, and they want you to do that. And I have never said no. I'm not asking people to ask me to do this anymore. It's not a fun thing to do, but it is an honor and it is something I understand. But that's the challenge for us. I can remember probably the most difficult show I've ever done was about 4 hours after my mother passed. And I'd spent a week there while she was in hospice, and we just knew she was not going to make it that long. And then, so we didn't make any arrangements to change the dates. They happened to be just 60 miles north of my parents' home. God is amazing, and it worked out for my parents anyway. Those are 2 relationships I have little to no regret, and they had no regret to live to be 89 and 94 years old, nearly. a great walk with the Lord the whole time. And that's when I was almost excited about, happy for them. We missed them so. But yeah, that's a tough one. But One More Day is not a song that, because I have had so much wonderful times with them, I don't have a regret. And sometimes, and I think that I had a good relationship with my parents. Would I like to have another Thanksgiving or Christmas with them? Sure. But I don't think they would. I think they're just fine. And that's where I'm at.
One more day, one more time, one more sunset, baby, I'd be satisfied. But then again, I know what it would be. Leave me wishing still one more day. Leave me wishing still one more day. Leave me wishing still one more day with you. Just one more day.
Did you see that, the end of that? It showed Troy Gentry standing there like that. Wow, that'll hit me. Troy and I are close. We're pretty good friends. Matter of fact, he just lived over the hill from me. But yeah, now that's the kind of life. That's the situation that One More Day is very helpful with. And poignant. It says, boy, we should have gone on that little hunting trip, something like that. No, you know what I saw in that video? I saw a unified nation. I don't see quite that same group of people right now. I see people coming together, even in their differences. That's what I see. That's what I saw. That I went, oh, I'd like one more day of that.
I'd unplug the telephone, keep the TV.
My sister, who's just younger than me, that passed away now 5 years ago from cancer. And it's funny because I will not take her phone number out of my phone. And so she's on my top, she's my top 10. Got my kids and I got my siblings. Of course, Gina's on top, but then I got the kids, the siblings. And every so often, because I'm kind of a goofball, I'll just accidentally hit and I'm calling somebody and I look down and it's almost always Rhonda, my sister. And anyway, whenever I think of her, that's the thought. Just one more day. I hope everything's good. I have faith that she's there, but she was the wrong person in my mind to leave the earth. She was so full. She just had so much great energy. She was so fun. She was so into helping other people. I'm like, why did that soul have to leave when there's a bunch of, it's the same question many people have asked, when there's a bunch of really not so great people on the earth. But she's gone, and so I think that often. I think, man, I would love to see her again.